Good afternoon. This is Alan Rosinski of Metro Manhattan Office Space. Today I'd like to discuss the impact of increased crime on businesses leasing office space in New York City. If you commute to an office in New York City or any other city, I'd like to know if rising crime is making you or your team reluctant to return to your office. Alternatively, if you are a landlord or managing agent, have increased crime rates impacted your ability to attract and retain tenants? The streets of Manhattan haven't looked this busy since early 2020 as companies bring their staff back to the office. But the fear of crime is holding up an even more robust return. Understandably, you and your team may be growing concerned about safety and security with crime in New York getting worse over the last year. I'd like to discuss what you can do as a business from a real estate perspective. As many of you are located throughout the world, these tips can apply to you too, not just New Yorkers. First things first, if you are in a more budget-oriented Class B or Class C office building and don't have a lobby attendant, talk to your landlord. Remember, landlords want to retain your company as a tenant, and assuming they are pros, will take measures to address your concerns. Demand that they increase security if you feel there is an unreasonable risk. Ask them to consider hiring a guard or a lobby attendant. Perhaps they may even install video cameras in the lobby and common areas. But say you've reached a point where enough is enough and you want out ASAP. You do have options. If your landlord has a portfolio of buildings and some are located in safer locations, ask to relocate. If this isn't feasible, try asking your landlord to release you from your lease. They'll probably not agree, but it can't hurt to ask. Perhaps your landlord knows of a tenant that would sublet your space or take over your lease. You can also talk to an office space rental agency and ask them to find a subtenant for your space. If your lease is expiring soon, you can start the process of researching commercial space in a safer neighborhood. Between working with a realtor to inspect different properties, negotiating offers, negotiating lease terms, and building out your new office, the process can take anywhere from a month to a year. Another way to improve security is to lease space in a commercial office building next to a major transportation hub. For instance, you can lease an office at the Chrysler Building in New York City and never even have to walk outside. You can jump on a train, arrive in Metro North at Grand Central, and walk through a tunnel directly into the building. Let's say your staff work long hours and well after it gets dark. It's understandable if they're concerned for their safety, especially in certain parts of Manhattan. This New York City crime map says a lot. The areas around Midtown Manhattan are the least secure. Pockets of Midtown South offer improved security, as does Midtown East, the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side, and certain areas of Lower Manhattan. For the benefit of my viewers with businesses leasing space in Manhattan, I put together a list of the 5 safest neighborhoods for commercial office space in New York City. Hopefully this list can help you evaluate your situation and provide direction. Number 1 on the list is Battery Park City, the safest neighborhood in Manhattan. Battery Park City is a green, peaceful, primarily residential area away from Manhattan's day-to-day bustle. Although the neighborhood is more residential than commercial, it's a stone's throw away from secure areas with excellent office space inventory, such as Tribeca, the Financial District, and the World Trade Center. These neighborhoods have a terrific selection of office space for lease, including many secure and affordable Class A buildings with 24/7 attended lobbies. Number 2 on our list of safest Manhattan neighborhoods to rent office space is Tribeca. Tribeca is known for its hip, industrial-style office spaces like the former printing buildings on Varick and Hudson Street. With concrete floors and high ceilings, these former manufacturing buildings have a different vibe than the traditional office space in the Financial District and often command rather high rents. In Tribeca, you're going to pay for safety and security. However, Tribeca does have some relatively affordable office buildings around Broadway by City Hall. Number 3 on the list of safest Manhattan neighborhoods to rent office space is Chelsea. Sometimes it's easy to forget that Chelsea is not only one of the best neighborhoods in New York City, but also surprisingly safe. Chelsea is young and hip with a terrific selection of restaurants and nightlife, with access to the High Line and of course Chelsea Market. Chelsea also has large corporate tenants, marketing and PR firms, and an abundant selection of commercial office space. You can rent affordable Class B buildings in Chelsea with similar amenities to older Class A buildings. There are also plenty of higher-end Class B office buildings on the avenues and around Madison Square Park. You can find pleasing commercial loft spaces on the side streets in the $30 to $35 per square foot range. Many of these buildings have 24/7 attended lobbies as well. The fourth safest neighborhood to rent office space in New York City is the Flatiron District. The Flatiron District is not only one of Manhattan's safest precincts, it is also a walker's paradise. Located around Madison Square Park, it's been said that pedestrians outnumber vehicles by 18 to 1, so you get a lot of people walking around, which enhances safety and security. Outside of its namesake, the iconic Flatiron Building, the neighborhood's well known for attractive and newly renovated loft-style office spaces. It's also a short walk away from the youthful, energetic Union Square, its transit hub, and Union Square Park. Number 5 on the list, and last but not least, is Kips Bay. While Kips Bay has a strong residential element, it may also be a great neighborhood for leasing medical office space with NYU and other medical institutions in the neighborhood. It also encompasses Midtown East, which has an inventory of mostly Class A modern office buildings. Many of these luxurious buildings appeal to financial services firms, hedge funds, brokerage firms, and large corporate tenants. So now that we briefly discussed some of the safest neighborhoods in Manhattan, what can you do? You're not alone if you're outraged. Personally, I have lived in New York City since 1982, and it's heartbreaking to see the security situation decline to such an extent. There isn't a month that passes that I don't receive calls from businesses that want to move out of formerly safe neighborhoods. Last week, I received a call from a blockchain-related business that I placed in a Class A building near Port Authority, and they now want to leave. The staff work late at night and feels unsafe staying in their office after hours. I could name plenty of other examples. Nobody enjoys paying Manhattan rents just to deal with surging crime and uneasy employees. However, you may be able to relocate to a more secure neighborhood and end up paying less rent. Consider the crime map again. Parts of Midtown with the highest crime also tend to have Manhattan's highest rents. The neighborhoods we listed are safe, secure, and often more affordable. They also have many unique qualities that could help draw your staff back to the office. Of course, if you do need to stay in a neighborhood, you can always move to an office building within a block or two of a police precinct. Your first step in exploring a safer space is to contact an office space rental agency. Be sure they specialize in office space and have extensive experience in Manhattan's 3 major business districts, Midtown, Midtown South, and Lower Manhattan. They should be able to tell you about secure buildings, available space in those buildings, who the landlords are, and what they can offer you. So while crime is concerning, you can work around it and experience the best of New York City from a professional and personal perspective. I hope you found this video helpful and interesting. If you'd like to suggest potential topics for the channel to cover, feel free to do so. I'd be particularly curious to hear from you if you are a landlord or commercial tenant in New York City. Please remember to hit the subscribe button if you've enjoyed this content. Until the next time. If you found this content interesting or helpful, I'd be happy if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can always find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @MetroManhattan. Until the next time.